flows and flows of angel hair, and ice cream castles in the air, and feathered canyons everywhere. I've looked at clouds that way, but now they only block the sun. They rain and snow on everyone. So many things I would have done, but clouds got in my way. I've looked at clouds from both sides now, from up and down, and still somehow.
Hello, I'm Marie, the host of Vital City Broadcasting, your transit express to rock and roll trivia. Our special guest today is Sweet Judy Blue Eyes, Judy Collins. Judy is an American singer-songwriter and musician with a career spanning nearly 7 decades. She's also an Academy Award-nominated documentary director and a Grammy Award-winning recording artist. She is known for her eclectic taste in the material she records, which has included folk music, country, show tunes, pop music, rock and roll, and standards. She is also known for her social activism and for the clarity of her voice. Her discography consists of 36 studio albums, 9 live albums, numerous compilation albums, 4 holiday albums, and 21 singles. She has so much to tell us today about her career, so sit back and enjoy listening to one of the greatest storytellers and voices in the music industry. Well, hello, Judy. It was nice you could join us today, and you definitely have beautiful blue eyes.
Thank you so much, Marie.
So tell us the story about Stephen Stills and the name Sweet Judy Blue Eyes, how that came about.
Well, I went to California to make an album in 1968, and my producer, David Anderley, said, I had my band with me, and he said, I want to turn your band around. You can send them home because I want to get this group of Hollywood guys. It was guys. And so he brought a couple of people from Nashville, wonderful players. And then he wanted Stephen Stills, and I said, great. And so he got Stephen Stills on the date, and we had a good time, and we fell in love and started an affair. And I always say, we were together long enough for him to write a song about me, which is why he called it Sweet Judy Blue Eyes. And I'm very grateful. It's been very good to me and very good to him.
Well, that's a sweet story. Now, of all the awards and accolades that you have received over your career, is there one in particular that stands out above all the rest, and why do you say so?
I don't know about that. I've had an awful lot of awards. You know what stands out to me, and it always has? I made a film about my teacher, Antonia Brico, and I studied with her for a number of years. I played with her orchestra, and I knew her story, which is a fascinating story, a strange story. She was born in Rotterdam. She was the child of an unwed mother. The mother's family threw her out of the house, and eventually she was adopted by a foster pair. And you're not supposed to do this, but they took off from Rotterdam and headed for San Francisco because it was the year of the earthquake in San Francisco. And her stepfather or her foster father knew that he could get work. He was a baker, and he knew that his career would be much better if he took his foster child and his wife to San Francisco, which he did. And the years went by, everybody told her she couldn't be a conductor. And finally, she got the attentions of, she became a devotee of a Buddhist monk called, uh, what's his name? I forget. Anyway, his name is on the tip of my tongue. And she was his devotee. And he said to her, nobody can tell you that you can't be a conductor. This was everything, everybody told her she could never be a conductor because she was a woman. So Yogananda, who was the guru, said, I think this was 1922 or something, and he said, I'll send you to Berlin to the conducting school because if you want to be a conductor, I'll help you do it. Never let anybody tell you you can't do anything. Well, eventually she conducted the New York Philharmonic, the uh, the Berlin Philharmonic in 1929. She was 27, and then she's conducted all over the world. And she became my piano teacher. So I made the movie of her later on after I'd become a folk singer, as you say. And she did everything that she wanted to do. And I made the movie, and the movie was out in 1975. It became she became a world star again because the movie was a big success, and it was nominated for an Academy Award. And we took her to Hollywood, and she got to meet Robert Redford,
Oh,
and everything in her life changed. So when the movie was made and it was nominated for an Academy Award, she did everything. She was on television, she conducted again in New York and everywhere else. And I was given something called the Christopher Award for that film. First of all, it was nice to be nominated for an Academy Award when you're a producer and a co-director. So I was the producer and the co-director. And so I'm very proud of that. And I'm very proud of the fact that she was able once again to make a living and to get back in the acknowledgement of people that she was very good at her work and she had a whole history of doing it. And so that's the one, the Christopher Award and the award for the big Hollywood bowl, the Hollywood treatment, getting a getting a getting a nomination for an Academy Award, it's a big deal.
yes.
So among all the others, I would say that has to be very high on my list.
It was a very inspiring story, and how you and your mentor's lives touched each other. And yes, we're very happy that it happened for both of you.
Yes, it made me very happy. It made her very happy.
Yes, I imagine.
When I told her I was going to make a movie about her, she said, "Ah, everybody says that, and nobody says that."
But
And
you
I
did
said,
it.
"I'm going to do it. Don't think I'm you know, a fantasy. It's going to happen," which it did.
Okay. Well, I'm glad it did.
Yeah.
Now, you were also scheduled to perform at Woodstock, but weather conditions were a determining factor as to why you didn't perform. Could you give us a behind the scenes recap as to what happened?
I don't really remember.
Oh,
I don't really know what they told me. Of course, it was a mess there.
yeah.
Everybody was.
Mud everywhere, yes.
But I don't know the answer because the promoters, the producers of that, I'm not sure, really. I don't think it'll ever be solved. And anyway, 3 times that festival occurred, I was not on it. But it's life. You don't do everything. You don't get to do everything.
Well, you
And by the way, while I was not being invited, Crosby, Stills, and Nash were there singing "Sweet Blue Judy Blue Eyes."
oh, okay. Well, that made up for it then.
So I think that made up for it.
Yeah, I think
I
so.
really do. It was very interesting that that was happening.
Very good. Now, Judy, when you're up on stage, you look out into the audience, knowing that all these people have come to see you perform. What kind of emotions are you feeling?
I'm just happy to be working, frankly. I mean, I have a good time. I love my audiences. They're always fun for me, and they're very responsive. And it depends. There are so many different kinds of venues and so many
Yes.
different sizes of audiences, but the main thing is they're paying attention
Yeah.
and they're laughing, they're singing, and they're wonderfully appreciative. I love my audiences. They've put a lot of their time into buying my records and coming to my shows, and I think it's a real commitment to do that with an artist, to decide you're going to go and get dressed and figure out how to go and get gas for the car, get lunch, dinner, whatever, get a babysitter. I think it's a big commitment, really. It's a lot of time and energy, and it's not free.
Well, Judy, include Rick and I in the audience, part of the audience that loves you too.
Thank you. Thank you. And I love the belly up. I just think it's a great,
Oh, I know. Yeah.
so much fun.
Yeah, we're really looking forward to going.
Yeah.
Now, I imagine your best-selling record, Sending the Clowns, is the crowd's favorite and the one you likely sing to close your shows. Is there another song that has real meaning to you personally? Maybe something about the song that brings back fond memories that are embedded in your heart?
Well, I was so lucky to get it because um I didn't know who Sondheim was, and I didn't know what Little Night Music was, and I hadn't heard any of it, including Son of the Clowns. And I got a call from one of my friends who was became my friend, one of my best friends, because she was the best friend of Leonard Cohen. And when I met Leonard, and he and I started to meet, and I sang Suzanne the first time I heard it. I said, "Well, I'm going to record that." And he and I had a very strong friendship, and we introduced one another to our best friends. And so he introduced me to Nancy Bacall. And so that was 1966. And what, 8 or 9 years later, in 1972, uh, she called me up and said, I'm going to bring a record over to your place and I'm going to drop it off. And I want you to listen to this particular song and I want you to put the needle on it and play it and then call me. So I got the record. It was Little Night Music. It was, of course, it was both sides. It was Someday Soon. Whatever the name of that song is. uh, Sending the Clowns, and I played it, but I didn't call her. I recognized the name on the record, which was so it was Hal Prince, and I called Hal Prince, and he answered my phone call, which I thought was unusual, and he said, "Oh no, I know you. You're the Both Sides Now girl."
Right.
And then I said, "You have a great song on this album." And he said, "Yes." He said, "About 200 people have already recorded it." And I said, "I don't care. I have to record it." So it was Nancy McCall who sent me that song. I never would have heard it. I wouldn't have known it. I certainly wouldn't have recorded it. So I really have a great deal of gratitude that Leonard introduced me to Nancy, and Nancy pulled the song out. You know, I later found out that the woman who was a song picker at Elektra had passed on the song for me. Somebody sent it to her. I think probably Hal Prince did. And she said, no, 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 this is not for Judy. So it's amazing how one person can hear the song for you, and one person who's in that job of choosing songs for the artists that they're trying to find songs for. I always found all my own songs, so I didn't really need that, but she was a sweet woman and I liked her a lot anyway. I don't know where she is today, but it was Nancy who found Sending the Clowns for me. And I was very lucky.
Yes, yes. I mean, who doesn't know that song? Under the Clouds. Well, the Ronettes were considered the bad girls of rock and roll, but then there were also the ladies of the canyon, Joni, Joan, and you, who were part of the female folk pop rebellion of the 60s. You're a storyteller, Judy, so tell us a story about those times, and do you stay in touch with these gals?
Well, I live in New York
Okay,
and all these people live in Los Angeles.
yeah.
I just did an interview with somebody from Laurel Canyon this morning, and I said to her, you know, I really did not spend time in Laurel Canyon. I first went I think in 66 or 7 because I was recording something else there with an orchestra and I was working with the guy who did all the orchestrations on my album what was it called? That Beatles song, In My Life. So we recorded a number of things there with an orchestra. But then when I went back to record Who Knows Where the Time Goes with Stephen Stills and some other wonderful artists, I spent a little time, but not a lot of time in the canyon. I did visit Joni in her wonderful house in the canyon, and my friend Roland Sherman, who was taking pictures for Life magazine, he came up to Joni's house and took pictures of us in her house and hanging out in the canyon. And actually, we had a picture taken in the middle of a sunflower field. So
Oh,
everybody thought that I lived in Los Angeles.
yeah.
They thought I lived in the canyon, which
Oh,
I didn't. But I visited her in her house, and she had a beautiful little house in the canyon. It was fun. And those pictures are classic,
yes.
really. And of course, I was there hanging out with Stephen and the gang, Stephen's uh, Stills and what's his name? Crosby, Stills, and Nash. In fact, I have a picture of us on my wall that I think Roland took, which is
Oh,
me and David and Graham and me and Joni. But it was all in the studio, so you can't really see what was going on. And I think that Stephen took the picture from inside the studio. So I have a lot of memories. You know, I grew up in Los Angeles. I was there. I was born in Seattle, but I spent 5 years in Los Angeles in West LA. My father was performing on the radio at CBS in Hollywood, and I started my first piano lessons in West LA. So that counts. You know, I had 4 years there, 4 or 5 years there. And I loved it there. It was very nice. And then we moved to Denver.
oh,
But I have very fond memories of West Los Angeles.
oh. Sounds like it was a fun time, and I'd
Yeah.
love to see that picture of you with the sunflowers.
Oh, yeah, it's on the cover of Wildflowers.
Okay, I'm gonna look.
And actually, a friend of mine, Jim Frawley was his name. Jim Frawley took that picture, and then Jim Frawley became the director of the first Muppets movie after they were in England. And it was his movie. So it's interesting, an interesting connection for me.
So much interesting history that you have. Well,
Yeah.
you've done pretty much everything that could be done in the music industry. Is there any final goal you'd like to achieve?
Hmm. I love to be doing what I'm doing till I fall over. It's very challenging. I still do about 100 shows a year. I'm all over the country. Sometimes I get to England. I'll be in England at the end of the year. And I go to Australia, I go to England, I go to Scotland, I go to Ireland, and sometimes I go to Canada. I love Canada.
Oh my
So
goodness.
I'm very lucky and I get to see my great grandchildren when I go out to California, and I have friends out there. So I have a lot of appreciation for the fact that I travel so much, and then I get to come home to New York.
That's not too bad.
No,
Oh, well, yeah, you do have an incredible schedule. You looked at your schedule, and I think
yeah,
it keeps you young, and so
it
keep doing
does.
what you're doing.
It does.
Oh, now, did you have a brief story about yourself that you wanted to share with our VCB audience? And it can be serious or funny.
Well, I, I how should I say it? I met my girlfriends who are still my girlfriends
Very
in,
good.
in seventh grade.
Oh,
When I moved from LA to Denver, my father was a big performer on the radio. He had a radio show in Seattle, then in Los Angeles, then in Denver. For 30 years, he was great. He was wonderful on the radio, and he taught me everything I learned about choosing songs and about how to be focused on what you're doing and how to he was too young when he died. He was 57, but he died of an aneurysm, so they didn't know, they couldn't diagnose anything like that. So when we got to Denver, first I had polio when I was 10, and I was in the hospital for a couple of months. But then I have no residuals. I don't have any paralysis from any of it. But then I got into grade school, and I was sent back a year, which is why that's where I met my friends who remained my friend. And they were both ballet dancers. They were both studying, and I was studying the piano. I had been playing since I had a teacher in Los Angeles. So I studied from the time I was five years old. And then the three of us decided we had to do something to figure out how we could see more of each other. And I'm going to read you where we worked. We decided we had to have a group. So the first thing we did was I wrote a story about Little Red Riding Hood. And the girls danced the story of Little Red Riding Hood while I told the story.
oh,
And from the start, we must have been in, by the time we started, we must have been 15. And so we started performing, and we had a wonderful time doing that particular program. And I told the story and played the piano. And we played at the Elks Club, the Lions Club, the Rotary Club, Lowry Air Force Base, Fitzsimmons General Hospital, Children's Hospital, the Kiwanis Club, and the Brown Palace. And we did that for about 18 months, right?
Oh,
And my friend Marcia said to me recently, I saw her in Tucson, and she said, we didn't spend much time in school. We spent time doing all these other things and getting permission to go out. And then the next thing that happened was that I was practicing the piano. I was supposed to do another concerto with my teacher. And I turned on the radio. My family was gone. I'm the oldest of five, and everybody was gone. I don't know where they were. It was a Saturday. And I went over and turned on the radio. And the first time I did it, I heard a song called um, Barbara Allen. First, that got my attention. Then the next week, I turned on the radio again. It was the same guy playing. I mean, he would play anything. He played Mozart, he'd play Beethoven, he'd play rock and roll, but he also played the Gypsy Rover. The Gypsy Rover is an old song that everybody who knows the folk music knows it. And so I said to them, you have to listen to the radio and get the words so that I can get them back from you. Because I sat on the album and I broke it into about 15 pieces. And so now I needed them to get me the lyrics. And so now we changed costumes and we changed the situation. I asked my father to get me a guitar, which he did, and he rented it because he was an optimist. And so then we did the Gypsy Rover. So the girls danced the story of Gypsy Rover, and I got a guitar, I got a drummer, I got a let's see, I got a drummer, and I guess he was a piano player, and I played the guitar. And so again, we did we did the Gypsy Rover at the Lions, the Rotary Club, the General Fitzsimmons General Hospital, the Rotary Club, Laurie Air Force Base, Children's Hospital, Kiwanis Clubs, and the Brown Palace. We were all over town with this show, and we were going to take it to Las Vegas.
oh
So
my goodness.
that's the story of my high school year when I
See?
became a folk singer, did the Gypsy Rovers, the girls danced the story, and then by 1959, I was touring and playing the guitar all over the world.
That started your career. Well, that's a
Yeah.
great story. And this has been really a wonderful interview. You letting us know a little more about yourself that we didn't know at the beginning of this
Yeah.
interview, but we're
Thank
not
you.
quite finished yet.
Oh,
No, we wanted to show our appreciation for doing the interview with us. So, to add to your many awards and achievements over the years, we at Vinyl City Broadcasting would like to present to you our Vinyl City Broadcasting Hall of Fame Award. And if you just give me a moment and I can put it up on the screen,
oh, great,
that way you and our VCB audience can see it.
great.
Should be up there
Oh,
now.
God, that's so sweet. I
Oh, glad
love
you
it.
like it. Well, let me go ahead and read it. It
Okay.
says, Vinyl City Broadcasting Hall of Fame Award, presented to Sweet Judy Blue Eyes, Judy Collins, in recognition of your lifelong contribution, artistry, and preservation of music for half of a century, continuing to create music of hope and healing that lights up the world and speaks to the heart. Presented August 27, 2025. And we
Thank
hope you
you.
like it, Judy.
I love it. I love it. I love it. Getting awards is such a great thing to do, and to have you give it to me on the screen
Yes.
is very touching to me. Thank you.
Oh, so happy you're pleased.
Thank you.
And as you know, we'll all be together at the Belly Up along with Rico and our friend Donna on August 27th to see
Good.
you perform. And we're all looking forward to meeting you and presenting to you in person our
Uh,
Vinyl City
that's
Broadcasting Hall of
sweet.
Fame Award.
Thank you.
You're
Thank you.
welcome.
Much love to you, and carry on doing these wonderful shows. And I will see you on August 27th.
Yes. in Solana Beach, and we'll try and stay in touch with you via social media so you can keep
Good.
us abreast of any new endeavors or shows
Great.
or events you might be engaged in. So
Wonderful.
we'll see you in a couple of weeks, Judy.
Okay. Mwah. Thank you.
Same to you.
Bye now.
Bye now. Didn't we all enjoy Judy sharing her background and musical journey from the time she was 15 to today, performing about 100 shows a year? Please visit her website at judycollins.com and check out the links for video, books in store, and newsletter. There's a lot to peruse and enjoy. Also, there's a page where you can download the lyrics to your favorite songs and sing along with them. Check out her concert schedule to see if she'll be coming to a city near you. Anyone in the entertainment field that sees this interview and would like to contact Judy, her contact information will be posted on our last slide. Thank you again, Judy Collins, for your informative and gracious interview. We'd like to end this show by playing one of Judy's signature songs, Send in the Clowns.
Isn't it rich? Isn't it queer? Losing my timing this late in my career. But where are the clowns? There ought to be